Today we're going to break down a single, pretty chilling story. And it's all about how an everyday event, something we all do without a second thought, can cross the line from totally routine into actual danger in just a matter of minutes. Let's get into how it all happened.
It all starts with something so common it's practically background noise in our lives, just a simple package arriving at the door.
And the setting? It couldn't be more ordinary. We're talking about a quiet residential area, middle of the day. There was absolutely zero reason for anyone to think anything was wrong.
So the parcel is handed over, the door closes, and that's that. Transaction's done. A moment we've all been through 1,000 times.
And this is where everything pivots. That unexpected second ring of the doorbell that changes the entire situation. The return that turns a normal day into something truly frightening.
Okay, so let's really set the scene here. This all went down in a quiet residential neighborhood of Safdarjung in New Delhi. The resident was a foreign national, a woman living on her own, just going about her business.
That first interaction was completely by the book, as you can see here. It was just routine. The delivery guy shows up, she opens the door, she takes the package, she closes the door. The whole thing was professional, fast, and totally unremarkable. But then, just a few minutes after he left, the doorbell rings again, and it's the same guy, the same delivery agent, standing there for a second time. This is the moment the whole story takes a very sharp turn.
You have to imagine what's going through her head right then. Why is he back? The delivery was finished, so what could he possibly want? It's a moment of confusion, but not necessarily alarm. Not yet.
He gives her an excuse that sounds perfectly legit. He needs the one-time password, the OTP, to finalize everything in his system. It's a request a lot of us have heard before, just a standard part of how deliveries work now. So, she opened the door again.
Now, this is what's so critical. The shift in his behavior was immediate. The first time, it was all business, quick and professional. This time, though, something was way off. He didn't just get the information and go. He lingered. His movements, his presence, it just felt wrong. And this is the absolute key. Before anything physical happened, her intuition, that gut feeling we all have, sent up a huge red flag. It was basically screaming that this situation was no longer safe. This was not a normal interaction anymore.
With that realization, the whole situation escalated fast. Her mindset shifted from just feeling uncomfortable to knowing she was facing a real threat, and she had to make a split-second decision on what to do.
And then, her worst fears were confirmed. The man made a move. He physically tried to grab her. In that single moment, the potential danger became very, very real.
But she didn't freeze. And this is such a critical part of the story. Instead of panicking, she immediately channeled that fear into action. She fought back. She resisted.
And you know what? Her resistance worked. That decisive action of just pushing him away was enough to completely shatter his confidence. He clearly wasn't expecting a fight. Faced with her immediate self-defense, the man just fled.
So she was shaken, but physically she was okay. And she immediately took the next crucial step. The incident wasn't over just because he'd run off. Now it was about making sure he was held accountable.
She reported the assault to the police, and they acted with really impressive speed. They checked the CCTV footage, used the delivery records to get his info, and were able to identify and arrest the guy very, very quickly. Justice started rolling because she spoke up.
This whole incident, which really started from a moment where somebody misused their access, it kind of forces us to ask a bigger and frankly more unsettling question. How vulnerable are we during these totally routine interactions that happen right on our doorstep, inside our own safe spaces? So let's get to the most important part of this whole explainer, how we can turn this really cautionary tale into a set of actions that actually empower us. Because this isn't about being afraid, it's about being prepared. And it's so important to say this out loud. This was the act of one individual. The vast, vast majority of delivery workers are just professionals trying to do their jobs. So the takeaway here is not to be terrified of every knock on the door, but to be aware, because awareness is what really keeps us safe.
So, what are the practical lessons here? Well, first, if you can, avoid reopening the door once a delivery is done. Maybe you can handle OTPs or other issues through the door or an intercom. Second, keep the chit-chat short and professional. Third, and this is the big one, always trust your instincts. If a situation feels off, it probably is. And finally, if you do feel threatened, act immediately. Create distance, make noise,
alert other people.
You know, if there's one single message to pull from this entire event, it's this. Our technology, our locks, they're helpful. But that internal alarm system we all have, our intuition, is so often our first and most powerful line of defense. Learning to listen to it is a critical safety skill.
And that leaves us with a final thought to mull over. When a situation turns on a dime, when there's no time to think or make a plan, is trusting that primal instinct the single most important thing we can do to protect ourselves? This story, well, it suggests it just might be.